It was the shot felt around the world. 1963. The youthful Camelot-era leader struck down. America changed forever. But did investigators hide the truth? The date, November 22, 1963, shocked America. President John F. Kennedy, wildly popular and seen as a confident, hopeful leader, shot dead on a fateful day in Dallas. Every schoolchild knows this. But what really happened that tragic day? And did authorities ever tell us the full truth? From the start, this story had mystery and secrets. See, in the early 1960s, spy leaders and generals got used to acting however they wanted, doing risky operations across the globe, toppling governments, trying to kill Castro in Cuba, acting in the shadows without asking the president much. But JFK wanted to refocus on peace, not war. He blocked many covert plans, aiming to rein in these uncontrolled covert actions. This brought conflict with powerful men in intelligence and the military. The charismatic young John F. Kennedy embodied the promise of new beginnings in post-war America. Born in 1917 to a prominent Irish Catholic family in Massachusetts, Jack, or JFK, faced frequent illness as a child, yet emerged ambitious and competitive. Among his many high-achieving siblings, Kennedy's drive propelled him to Harvard and soon heroic war service as a Navy lieutenant in the Pacific, receiving decorations for rescuing his crew after a Japanese destroyer sank his boat. Emerging a war hero made JFK a rising political star. Propelled by his family's wealth and natural charm, he won election to Congress by age 29 and the Senate thereafter. In 1952, Kennedy married the elegant Jacqueline Bouvier, uniting two glamorous East Coast aristocratic families. Apparently irresponsible philandering imperiled their marriage, yet connected the Kennedys to celebrities like Marilyn Monroe and unparalleled glitz, feeding John's popularity. Kennedy's 1960 presidential campaign played up youth, idealism, and early opposition to Soviet aggression, contrasted with Richard Nixon's stuffy vulnerability from questionable funds spent renovating his mansion. Their historic televised debate made JFK's movie star magnetism definitive, helping him narrowly prevail that tumultuous election year. The youngest elected president at age 43 aimed to get America, quote, moving again after cautious, aging Eisenhower leadership. But from the start, tensions surfaced between Kennedy and an interventionist military intelligence apparatus accustomed for decades to initiating secret overseas subversion, devoid of real restraint. Inheriting the chaotic Cold War's perils profoundly influenced the youthful JFK's abbreviated presidency. Danger abounded. Soviet Premier Khrushchev threatened Berlin, then brazenly situated nuclear missiles in America's backyard on Cuba. Fortune intervened, letting JFK defuse this crisis, but communist aggression and erroneous CIA assessments augmented Kennedy's skepticism toward rash military options favored by advisors. See, JFK entered office just after CIA's bungled Bay of Pigs plot, unsuccessfully trying to instigate Cuban exiles to overthrow Castro. He was irate after being assured no direct US role would trigger Soviet retaliation, then having to order air support, limiting disastrous losses when the plan imploded. The defining disaster soured faith between Kennedy and intelligence elements. Reputedly, he aimed to, quote, scatter the CIA into 1,000 pieces and scatter it into the winds. Whether apocryphal or not, myriad covert special operations clearly exceeded acceptable oversight. JFK sought rapprochement with Moscow to ease nuclear tensions in his famed American University address, and he came to doubt open-ended military intervention in places like Vietnam, despite political pressures against this. Flash forward to November 1963. President Kennedy visits Dallas, riding in an open car with Jackie waving to crowds. Then gunfire erupts. Kennedy is fatally shot along with Governor Connolly. Lee Harvey Oswald, an ex-Marine communist sympathizer, is arrested. He worked at a building on the motorcade route, but Oswald claimed he was innocent, just a patsy or fall guy. Before Oswald could claim innocence at trial, a shocking twist. Oswald himself gets gunned down 2 days later while being moved by police. Conspiracy? Now, authorities controlled the story as Lee Harvey Oswald would never stand trial. The new president, Lyndon Johnson, wanted reassurance for a grieving nation. Johnson created the Warren Commission to investigate, but phone calls suggest a whitewash rather than open inquiry, ignoring JFK's distrust by military and CIA. The commission introduced a startling single bullet theory. One bullet supposedly caused all wounds to both men, and Oswald's 3 rifle shots alone were responsible for all injuries inflicted. Any other shot sources implied a broader conspiracy, what authorities aimed to dispel. The commission moved facts selectively to conform to Oswald acting alone. It withheld conflicting eyewitness testimony, medical reports, etc. This secrecy and control ignited whispers of lies and cover-up that echo still today. Public skepticism exploded after the famous backyard film emerged, showing JFK's head snapping violently backwards from the fatal shot, seemingly showing a front origin, versus Oswald's building behind the car. Faith in government sank as Vietnam and Watergate unfolded. Congress itself later condemned deficient investigations into JFK's assassination and the FBI and CIA withholding information. In the 1990s, furor peaked anew. Conspiracy-tinged movies like JFK imagined sordid hidden plots. Under public pressure, Congress mandated all records be released publicly. But even with over 5 million documents declassified, smoking gun-proof identifying covert orchestrators remains elusive. Still, echoes linger from authorities aiming to selectively shape conclusions from that devastating day rather than pursue truth at any cost. This fueled lasting suspicion. The past cannot be undone, but revelations teach transparency, and honesty guards society's faith in institutions designed to serve. The dream of JFK embodied idealism that inspired the nation looks ever more poignant as faith in those who steer government machinery corrodes when facts seem hidden or bent. Perhaps lost truth around Kennedy's death reminds us lost trust takes lifetimes to rebuild. This pivotal history continues evolving, but the significance is more than who pulled triggers, ending Camelot's promise that ominous noon. It cautions those privileged with power to temper ambition with truth's wisdom. For when leaders weave webs of deceit, even seeking worthy ends, collective faith unravels.